Boundless Authenticity Podcast.
If the future of human health is being rewritten right now, would you want to know? Today, you'll hear a doctor's perspective on vaccine ethics, emerging nanotechnology, and what she believes is at stake for human sovereignty. Dr. Carrie Madej is a physician whose life's work bridges science, spirituality, and the pursuit of human freedom. Guided by her faith in the Creator and His Son, Yeshua, she believes that health is not limited to the physical body. It is the harmony of body, mind, and spirit working as one. Originally from Dearborn, Michigan, Dr. Madej earned her medical degree from Kansas City University of Medical Biosciences in 2001. Her medical philosophy places the physician in the role of educator as much as healer, someone who helps patients understand the root causes of illness and the body's innate ability to heal itself. Over the years, her mission has expanded beyond clinical practice. Today, Dr. Madej focuses on education and advocacy, addressing topics such as vaccine safety, the ethics of emerging nanotechnologies, and the defense of human rights in modern medicine. Through her work, she challenges others to think critically about the future of humanity and the sacred responsibility we all share in protecting life. If you value critical thinking and conversations that challenge mainstream narratives, this episode is for you. And if you appreciate long-form conversations that ask difficult questions, subscribe and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Now, discussions like this tend to disappear, so be sure to visit boundlessauthenticity.podbean.com, where you will be able to download the episode. Also, it's never been easier to listen to the show because on that same page, you will find links to all your favorite streaming services. Let's dive in. Tell anybody that is new about who you are, your mission, and how you're going about fulfilling it.
Well, I've been a doctor since 2001 in osteopathy and internal medicine, on my own clinic, and taught medical students, but I gave my medical license back in around 2022, 2023. And I did that because I was getting attacked for misinformation. I was speaking, and I still do speak against transhumanism and the integration of AI with the human body, or I warned people about it, I should say. And I also warned people about what was inside of the COVID shots they falsely called vaccines. And so, of course, a lot of people get attacked for that. So I gave back my license and I focus on teaching people on how to be healthy naturally. And that's where I'm at right now. And I'm still warning the alarm to people that haven't heard the what's going on in the world right now.
Since you led with, you were getting attacked, for misinformation and against transhumanism and things like that, we got to define exactly why that is, what that means.
Okay. Well, my history is, there's a lot to go over for just an hour here. I can start with back in 2014, around the end of 2014 in November, I was invited to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, which was Metro Atlanta. I don't know if you've heard this story before. This is when I was introduced to transhumanism. I didn't realize it. I thought it was just a regular Chamber of Commerce meeting. But this one, you had to have referrals and get background checks. And so I was approved. And so they actually bussed us all in. We couldn't drive. Our cell phones were jammed, and it was a very unusual meeting. And when I was inside at my table, the people there asked me what I did for a living. I said, a physician. And they said, oh, we don't need you. Our bodies will change. And I thought that was very strange. But I ignored it. And then the people there were much bigger than me. They were from big corporations, CNN, Delta, Georgia Tech. So, then fast forward going to the main event, which was the speaking engagement about what to do for Metro Atlanta, because they claim, the people there, that this was interesting or an interest to the business owners there, because they were having problems getting new companies from other countries because of three reasons: racism, not amenable to new cultures, and the people needed to have better education. They weren't very smart. This is what they said. So they claim that they had a way to improve on two of the three very quickly, and this would make the society healthier. And so this is when the main speaker got up and said, we have new technology that will launch, and this is going to be something that can be remotely monitored in all the people's bodies. So this is what they described to us. I'll give you the example they gave us. So he said, imagine two people are talking on the phone, and one person, let's say Susie and Brenda asked Susie, where are you? You're late. You're supposed to be here meeting me for dinner. And Susie goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm working out in the gym. Well, the phone would instantly know she's lying, because lying is the parameter that was selected for Metro Atlanta, because there are biosensors inside of her body in real time monitoring back to the health app in the smartphone that she has. The smartphone would pick up she's lying by voice inflection, by the sweat glands on her skin, which is a polygraph test on par with the police station. Also know by GPS that she's at the bar, not at, working out in the gym. Also know that her blood alcohol content is high, what drug she's taking, what lot that is, and what batch it comes from. Also knows if she's fertile, or all kinds of different things. I mean, the list is huge. So the phone instantly knows she's lying. And the person said that an instant repercussion would go back to the woman lying. And any lie is the same. So a lie about where you are is the same about a lie about stealing about something. There is no human involved in this. So they told us there that the person would be given a shock. The word shock was used. We did gasp in the audience, and the person that was speaking said, oh, I guess you don't like the word shock. Well, I'll use the word buzz. Do you like that better? Is that more palatable? And I don't know what shock meant, because they didn't elaborate, but we can say maybe it's electrical, maybe it's something that a payload was being released, a hormone, a chemical, who knows. But anyway, an instant repercussion. Then also after about 2 or 3 months, all the lies would be added up for this lady. And then if she had too many lies based on the algorithm, then a negative social credit score would be enacted on her. She wouldn't get a good job, good education, different things like that. So the point of this that I'm telling you, there's a standing ovation in the room. I was horrified. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was new to the group. They had already heard of things like this. And I said to the people at my table, how could you stand for this? This goes against God and humanity. And they said, well, you can't stop me, or anyone else can stop what is about to happen around the world. Maybe you want to run off to somewhere outside the big cities, but you can't fight it. You'll come running back to us. And I said, never. I said, and don't you know that you're not going to be different than anybody else? It's going to be implemented on you too. This is, an ultimate of enslavement. You can't think, freely. You can't act freely. What is this? So the point is, the plan is to augment all of us humans without our consent, really, with synthetic technology, and not to use it for the betterment of us. This is important to know, because technology can be used for good or bad. I'm not against technology, but I am against the intention behind it, about the deceit and lies behind it, because it's about to oppress and manipulate others without their consent. And so this is, and so one of the main hydrogel is the mother of substances. It can be modified or changed into different types. Some are nanolipid particles, and that could be through these shots they falsely call vaccine. COVID shots is a big payload. They could also put it through different medicines, the chemtrails, the water, the foods, etc. But the main issue is to get enough inside the human body, and who knows what that amount is. We don't quite know what that is, before it can be fully operational, where there's a message going in and out of the human body, right? So always spying on us through all different methods. And there's a drop down on the health app that people can look at. But then also using that data really against us, and to want to modify the human body. So that's augmenting, modifying. So people can choose to do that. If you're an adult, that's your choice. But I'm being the whistleblower for those that are not consenting, for me and for all the others without a voice, and to warn others to be aware of this and to be watchful of this, because all the countries have agreed to some mandates, executive orders, things like that, about the Internet of Bodies, the Internet of Things, about hooking the human body up to the database. That's why they're building data centers everywhere. And one of the super brain data centers is Memphis, Tennessee. So that is fed back into this kind of Borg, I'd say. Now, on top of that, there are plans to do something called a JADC2, JADC, the number 2. So if you look that up, the Department of Defense has talked about that. That's actually kind of like analogous to Skynet from Terminator. So that's actually taking all this data, right, and blurring the lines of what is one category or another, or what is one jurisdiction versus another. So meaning all the branches of the military now blurred, police stations. It's blending air, sea, land, under the ground, under the sea, space, all in one. Media, social media, everything's blended. This is crazy. So obviously not one human is behind this. This is called autonomous AI. I mean, this, I know it sounds crazy, but you don't believe me. I want people to look this stuff up for themselves. So they also talked about, if you read up on it, an AI-assisted shooter and autonomous drones. So what this means is that based on the data collected, so, okay, let me give you an example. So the people that are lying, these crazy things, right? Where their location is. Maybe this autonomous actually start to do something more deleterious to that person. Sorry about that. I don't know which part I left off. It just kicked me off.
Well, I expect that. It caught you before when you were saying something about COVID, and then it caught you again when you said the people that are lying. And I expect that. Yeah. Well, especially when I start talking about this more and more. Well, this is what we're talking about, right? All censorship and monitoring through Palantir. Well, they don't want me meeting you at all because they've tried to shut this podcast down 4 times. So, yes. So the whole point is warning people about what's going on around the world. So let me just say this to people. So whatever we see in the media, the news right now, we got Epstein out there, and what else out there? We got some drug cartels being brought down in Mexico. Do we really think that that's what's going on? I mean, okay, there's some things going on with that, but whenever you see whatever's on the media, know that something else is really going on that we need to pay attention to. In my opinion, what we really need to pay attention to is each month goes by, each day goes by, more and more of this AI infrastructure is being put in everywhere, not just our country, but around the world. There's a worldwide movement for this. And that's my real warning to people, is to wake up to that is the issue, that we don't need to fight amongst each other. We need to be aware of that. Just being aware breaks the spell. Just being aware gives us power, because we, organic human beings, truly have the power here, the authority, dominion, et cetera. We have the voice, okay? But if we are apathetic and we turn our heads and we do nothing, well, then we're just consenting to this insanity that's about to take place. It really hasn't yet. We have a choice. We have a chance to stop something, what I feel is really terrible, from happening to humanity. We're at a crossroads right now. So it's warning people about the infrastructure that is being put in, that I was told. I was there as an eyewitness. I was there myself. This is not just me looking at research and telling you something. It's not just me hearing. It's secondhand. That's what gives me passion to speak out. I've been around these people. I know how people think, or how people go along with the plan. I was there for Dr. Craig Ventner with one of his keynote speeches at a conference in Vegas, where he talked about these kinds of technologies and how they could implement them on humanity using synthetic biology too. Okay, melding the human body, the organic human body, with synthetic technology. And again, I'm not here to tell any one person what they should do with their body. That's their choice. But
That's not what's happening here. It is these things are being implemented without the consent of us, humanity. And I want people to be aware of that. And that's my warning call out there. And I do go through ways that this is happening, as well as the solution is really being human, is saying no and staying human. And that's how our bodies can heal miraculously. That's how we can turn the tide here, because we come from a creator that created all. And we are spirit in a flesh body and a physical body. Once we get that we are spirit and a soul inside this body, and we become confident and we take authority of the words we say and how we say them, and the way we do these things, I mean, it's game over for AI. Our heart creates an energy. Heart Math Institute talks about this, that is the most powerful organ in our body. And it actually, in a state of true love, unconditional love, joy, true joy, it actually emits in a field around us at least 6 feet. And someone who's really prayerful or meditating, they can emit a field much more powerful or longer than that. And it's so powerful they can't measure it with their instruments currently. So imagine 12 of us getting together like that. That's a plasma field that's put out. And love is the most powerful frequency. To me, that is our EMP, God's EMP against all of this synthetic technology. And I follow the Bible very closely, and they talk about in these days that there is a fire that will burn away the iniquity, the chaff, the impure parts, which I believe, this is me, okay, that there's the holy fire. It's a cause of plasma fire that can come from us. AI cannot exist with that. It cannot really be in the presence of that. I truly believe that's the answer. I don't think it's going to be another technology, honestly. I think it's going to be us rising to the occasion and, becoming the brilliant beings we were always designed to be. We were always created to be.
What do you think about the idea that there is some universal law of free will that can't be violated by these people?
Yes, if we act on our free will, right? Apathy is the problem right now. That's the disease out there, is not making a decision, not wanting to know. And so apathy, to me, if you measure it on an emotional scale, it's closest to death. So you're just accepting whatever happens to you, which is an awful fate. I think that's the job of you and a lot of us, is to wake up those that are apathetic, those that are still sleeping. Because yes, we have free will. We have the ability to choose, to say no, to say yes. But it's the apathy that is the biggest disease, I believe, right now.
What can we say to someone in denial that what we see occurring right now is not what you just described?
Sometimes we just plant seeds and then, they kind of grow over time. But I think the most powerful way is to be the words we say. Whenever I use the example of Jesus Christ in the Bible, it wasn't really what he said. It was the way he was when he walked the earth. People wanted to know him. They're like, who is that? I want to be like that. That's what we all should strive to be, is not just speak it and preach it or, go and tell people about it, but literally be that joy. You walk into a room. We all have the ability to change the atmosphere. We have a choice in how we respond to a situation. And once we see that and understand it, that's a powerful thing. And then again, 1 can't do much. 2, can do so much more. 3, and then I just say the number 12 is quite powerful together. When we start to really get that, when you don't fear your life unto death, or you just lose that fear, wow, that's a power. And you get that true joy. Nothing can mimic joy. There's no way an AI program can do that. Nothing can mimic true love, that unconditional love, the love that makes you do something that seems to be impossible. That's when miracles happen. That's what breaks the algorithm of the AI. That's kind of in the matrix. That's the good virus in a way. They have to have their protocol and algorithm. We come from pure love and creation, but we have to choose to be that and practice it, right? I'm still practicing. I'm still learning. I'm still growing in that. which is exciting. And, when I gave back my license, that was unbelievably more powerful than I thought. I wept, cried, but then I realized it was kind of strange. I felt this like in the spirit realm, a chain come off my neck. And I felt like I could breathe again. And then that's what really made me cry. I'm like, I've been chained by these licenses. They've been holding me back, which is true. I couldn't speak freely. And so that was a revelation. So it's been this whole thing's been a learning curve for me as well, but I feel more free as I go along. I feel more authentic, my true self. And I'm still learning to be the words that I'm speaking. But it's been great because I get to meet people like you and others around the world that now I don't feel alone. Can meet the other ones where we don't fit into the regular box, right?
On the surface, social media has a way of making stuff seem overly sensationalized. And so we have people that we need to get on board that don't want to get involved because it's too sensationalized or it's too extreme and all these different things. I'm here to have you present solutions for that because there's obvious examples, specifically right now, the surge in upper respiratory illnesses everywhere. We can talk about that because that's a big part of this. I've been affected by it and I'm a healthy person and I eat what people would consider to be an extreme diet, Give us some insight into that and what you would propose people can do.
So pretty much what I've learned myself, these bugs they claim that are so dangerous, they're really not dangerous. My internet says it's unstable, but it shouldn't be. It looks like it's good. I'm sorry if it's... Mostly what's going on for the most part is poison toxins, which is induced upon us. So we shouldn't have cancers, autism, autoimmune, cardiac issues. Poisons can come in the form of physical poisons, but then also we have to remember they can be mental poisons. It's very powerful. We all have them. And spiritual poisons too, in the spirit realm. But physical, I'd say the most important thing to look at is water. Water always throughout the generations has been used against us, poisoning of the public sanitation, etc. So right now, the water, I truly believe for me, I'd say distilling your own water is the most important thing you do. Water that you cook with becomes more toxic if you heat it up. The poisons become more concentrated. So you can't use tap water for coffee and tea. You still have to clean your own water because the companies, they can find loopholes in how they're cleaning the water. Purified could just mean tap water, et cetera. But if you get a distiller, you can get a cheaper one on Amazon. I know it's Amazon, but like $125. I have a solid one made in the US, lasts me my lifetime, $700. But I just distill my own water. Now I know it's clean. I also like to do it because then I see the residue left over. And there's usually like a slime in water. Can you believe that? Left over. And black sometimes, and other people in other countries, or I'm sorry, other states are seeing that. So imagine you're drinking that or, using it in your cooking, all that sticky slime is sticking in the digestive tract and building. So people have really unhealthy guts and they're eating well, like you said, they're doing all these things, but this is your immune system, the digestive tract. This is what starts 95% of all diseases. So that's really how people are getting ill, and they're getting also just bacteria and fungus and things from the water. So distill your own water with cooking, whatever, already you'll get healthier. You can pull poison out through water, through detox baths. So one of my favorites, I tell people, are 2 cups of baking soda, 2 cups of sea salt. If you can't afford sea salt, then you can get rock salt in the grocery store. It's what you brine a turkey with, 2 cups of that. And then you can use either a little bit of bentonite clay, maybe a half cup. If you're not sure about your plumbing, you might want to just use borax, quarter cup or so of that in the water with the bathtub. 20 minutes is key, longer if you can, hot as you can tolerate it. I'd say about 3 times a week. If someone's really ill, they can do it more frequently. I've done them twice a day before when I was feeling really sick. Faster to pull the poison out through your skin. And when you're doing the baking soda and salt, it actually For some types of hydrogel, it's been the antidote, meaning it dissolves it, believe it or not. And also it can pull radiation out of your body. So that's the other poison to mention. Electromagnetic frequency, the deleterious kinds coming from our computers, the 5G up going to 6G, low orbit satellites, you name it, our light bulbs, everything. We are being inundated and radiated, and that's what's really happening. So when you see, like right now, a flu strain go out, probably many times we look and it's these pulsations coming from the towers and other sort of devices. So the more you can ground yourself, so bare feet in sand or water, the detox baths, getting out in the sunlight, this is a natural way of discharging that negative frequency. Also I use things that help to remediate it. There's a company called emfsol.com. So that's helped me greatly. And a lot of my colleagues say the same thing. There are people that do free home assessments for you, but you can even get something really economical for people that don't have a lot of money. It's a little $40. It's called Better Z's. It's like a little pillow full of this natural material. So I've been around traveling, and I start to get, for me, I get pain and fatigue, headaches, pressure behind my eyes, but I get pain in certain spots. So I will take that little pillow, I put it against my body, and within minutes, the pain usually starts to subside. And I know it's from the electromagnetic frequency then. I know that's what was getting to me. So you can do something just like that if you don't have enough money for anything else, but also don't put anything plugged in within 6 feet of the head of your bed. If you charge one of these and you're charging it by your bed, it is like literally having a microwave oven with the door open running. It's that terrible for you. So people don't realize these things. So just keep this 6 feet away. 6 feet is really important. You can do it airplane mode, but at least keep it 6 feet away. And then, be cognizant of those electric cars. Those are like radiation. Do not put earbuds in your ears because, again, you're like an antenna, anything wireless. I use speakerphone all the time. So that's how I'm using it. I have a special case that protects it. If I do have to speak on the phone, I cover it, it blocks it. These are the things that I have to do, or a wired headphone. When I've been using these kinds of things, it helps tremendously. So there are different examples. I do have a free downloadable resource on my website. You can get people, if they look on there, just click it, download it. It's some simple things to detox. Okay. So water's important. The frequency, electromagnetic frequency they're pulsing around is really important to, help protect yourself from. So schools, that's why kids get so sick. Oh, it's so bad in the schools. Hospital systems, yeah. Apartment complexes, they're putting the new fiber optic is really powerful. So we all have to live in this, yeah. But as long as we know how to discharge it, detox from it, remediate it, these are all words for it, you can still live in this society and not get sick from it, okay? So that is very, very important, is to know about EMF. Don't use, the smartwatches. If I had one, me personally, I would take it off, take a hammer and smash it. By the way, the earbuds are reading brain waves. You can look at the patents. Everything I'm telling you, I want you to look up, everybody that's listening. So there are patents for the earbuds where they're actually reading your brain waves, spying on you. But then also they claim that they can put a modification back in and modify your brainwaves to what? I don't know, but it's not their business to do that. Another important thing to remember is we cannot live in fear. Again, their state of mind, second we have fear, we lower our vibration and we allow things to happen in our body. We respond. Like Dr. Masaru Emoto's water crystals. And I don't know if you can still hear me. It says that the internet is bad, which is really crazy. I don't know why. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can shut this off. Yeah, they don't like us talking, I suppose, huh? So I remind myself of the power of, can you hear me now or not?
I can hear you now. So it cut you off where you were talking about fear.
Yes. Yeah. our state of mind going into something is incredibly powerful. You can make yourself sick. You can make yourself well. This is more powerful than all the physical things I'm telling you about. It really, really is, but it takes practice. For me personally, I have pictures of Dr. Masaru Emoto's water crystals where it shows you the change of the water crystal with beautiful words, which are thoughts, right? And then negative words, negative thoughts. And it shows that when you think something negative, it's not even a structure, it's all distorted. We literally in real time change our body as we think and we speak. We are always changing. I'm happy to show you or share later some slides. I worked with a group of people where we looked at live blood analysis. We took blood from our fingers, about 12 of us. We had videotaped it, photographed it, and all of us had some stickiness in our blood, some smudge, even if we didn't get shots. So everybody has contamination. So this is what we did. We only did this. We practiced true forgiveness. True forgiveness is mean from your heart, not just your brain. Anybody from your childhood to current. Repentance means if you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing in your body, okay, I'm going to stop. I admit it. I'm doing it. I'm responsible, right? You take accountability. And then prayer. So praying, leaving that prayer works. And if you don't, I call it holding the faith. We had intercessory prayer, other people praying, okay, that had faith, right? So 10 days later, we all looked at the blood again, each person's blood. Every single person's blood improved. Nobody changed their diet. No one did any detoxing. Simply by using prayer in our mind, the blood changed dramatically. And I'm happy to show you pictures of that because, I cried over that. That's the glory of us. That's us. There's nothing physical that can clean the blood like that. But it's not a one and done. It shows us that we're ever changing. We are more powerful than we thought. But we have to give all glory to the Creator and know who the Creator is. And there's also another experiment to do seedlings, like little seedlings that you're growing from seeds. And I had a great teacher in second grade back in the 80s. And so what she did is she had little seedlings for us. And she said, kids, this is what you do. Same water, same sunlight. But one group, you're going to say the nastiest, meanest things with all your might, because, kids are good at that. But this group, you say the most beautiful words and with all of your heart, the loving words. And we did every day for a month while we're in school. And the end of the month, we kind of had a class meeting and looked at them. And I remember her name was Miss Binder. She goes, I never thought this was going to work because the plants were so different. The ones we said beautiful things were growing, flourishing, and the other ones with negative words had brown spots and wilting. That's with children's words and thoughts. We affected life around us. It's powerful. What if we really started to walk that way and talk that way? Because this is who we are. So I'm happy to share physical things, but what's happening to us is a illness of our mind. There's a battle of the minds going on. We are told we are helpless. We are told we are victims. We are told these things are happening to us. We are told to be fearful. We're told about this. And the people are believing it in the media, and they're taking ownership of that's told to you. No. This is when you say, I do not follow you. I follow, human rights, God's given rights. And you stand up tall and I speak health and I speak blessings. And I know that I have authority, dominion through my Savior. And I say no to that. And when you start, it takes practice though, right? So when you start to stand like that and we ask others to help us when we fall, then that's when we see the miracles happen. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. That's what we're being pushed to right now. So I have to really emphasize that because that's going to be the key for everything coming up. But going back to some of the physical solutions, I think everybody should have chlorine dioxide in their house. Do you know what that is? Yeah, that's a really good... there's a website called theuniversalantidote.com, theuniversalantidote.com. It's going to give you more information than you would ever want, but you're going to get an idea about it. You can do it on your own. I suggest the ones you mix together. I have like a little starter cheat sheet people can use to kind of understand, to sift through all the extra information, how to start it simply. And it's free. And then people can read on all the different ways people have used it. And so when I get acutely, some symptoms, I start that right away and it knocks it out. People with chronic issues, they've taken it slowly and titrated up. They've gotten better on it as well. So it's kind of cleans the water of our body in essence, right? And just have to know how to use it. But there are instructions in many different places. So that's a really, really, really important thing to have in your house for helping to get healthy and well.
I think that the other thing that people would love to hear about is more along the lines of cycling back to the detox aspect. We now have so many that have crossed the floor, to use a political analogy. They've come over from the pro-vax thing to the understanding that they've been attacked by this thing, and they want to try to improve their health.
Sure.
And how do we help them?
First of all, don't take any more. It's cumulative, right? So that's important. I got to say that. Number two, I've seen the most improvement when people, honestly, it's a spiritual war. So when they pray and they turn to God, it's honestly how it is. And then third, detoxing from radiation, things like that. And I told you the baths seem to really help people using. And when I say the word nano, it just means small. It doesn't mean synthetic. Okay. So nano zeolites, which is a type of clay that comes from volcanic ash hitting seawater. So it's a natural substance from the earth. We've seen that acts like a magnet in the body and it binds to the poisons. And once it's in a complex, it just excretes it out of the body. So there are companies like Touchstone and Masterpiece. Those two have been very good, where they can get into the bloodstream and bind to things, synthetic things, even like graphene and other synthetic toxins, and slowly pull them out. I'd say heavy metal detox is very good as well. I like DMSA Synergy, which actually takes out arsenic as well as heavy metals. And there's some other ways people can do that, but that's one of my favorites because it's safe. And then, making sure that the other parts of your body are not blocking you from healing. So one thing I see that we went over water, right? But then dental area. If somebody has a weakness in the dental area, it's really hard to get better no matter what's going on in your body. So I tell people all silver metal filling should come out, those amalgams. White resin is fine. That can make a huge difference in your health. Bad root canals can cause a myriad of problems. So sometimes just pulling out that root canal is the answer. Inflamed gums, that's another reason. So make sure you don't have inflammation in the gums. And so that's important to tend to that and take care of that. I see huge improvements when people do that. So I'd say you have to have some kind of a binder for the toxins in the body. We know zeolite's a good one. There's some others as well. I do like chlorine dioxide. It seems to cut through the biofilm in the gut and also just kind of clear out the body and changes the charge of the body as well. So that's another go-to, I'd say. The baths in lowering the EMF that you're around. So then everybody else is a little individual. Those are kind of the go-tos that anybody can do. But again, everybody might have a little bit individual plan for themselves.
I've seen people's personalities change. I do therapy, so I can tell who's been afflicted by it in therapy sessions. Their ability to be cognitively flexible is affected. There's irrational and violent behavior that goes along with that, and so much more. Speak to me about some of the research and facts, etc., that you've come across with that.
Okay, so we're in a spiritual war, and they've always been after more so the children. I'll tell you why. So I told you that we've seen that in all of our blood, even those that didn't get the shot, there's some synthetic smudge in there, I'll call it, right? But why are some people more affected than others? I do believe it's this reason, because if you, like you and I'm sure many of your listeners have a strong sense of identity. We know who we are. We know what we think. We know who we are, right? We also, have a connection. If you have a connection with God, that's your spiritual connection. Then there's the mental soul connection. So if something happens to your body, let's say a thought comes in my mind or your mind that is not coming from us, I can identify it, you can identify it, and you can throw it out. We have the power to do that. But think of a child or maybe just an average citizen out there only watching the news, letting the news tell them what to think, or this child that has no sense of identity because the school system has distorted it, or the fear from the media has gotten to the people. They take in whatever they're fed. They're sitting ducks for a thought to come into them and they will accept it as their own. To me, it is a high-tech way of demonization. The demonic realm can work through that. And so if we are not, I call it the armor of God, if we are not vigilant right now and making sure that we take captive our own thoughts, we know that if a thought's coming in that's not ours, that we don't take care of it. This is our body, our holy temple. Then we fall prey to that, because the whole point of them doing these technologies is to manipulate us and make us into something they call soft robots. A real robot is really expensive to make. To take a human being and turn one into a soft robot is pretty inexpensive. And that's the way these evil entities think that work through humans. So again, we have the ability to not have that happen to us, but it takes us to be knowing who we are and what we are and whose we are.
People say that it's greed. They say all these different things. In your opinion, based on what you have actually seen and experienced, what is the payoff for these people?
I think we're dealing with powers and principalities, entities working through people, or what they say are people. We're not alone here, never have been. And it goes back to the age old, in the Bible for me, the seed of the serpent versus the seed of the woman, meaning real organic humans versus other entities that, to me, they're narcissistic, jealous entities, psychopathic as well. So that's why we in our human brains cannot make logic out of what they're doing. Because we are in this, it's a holy war, it's a spiritual war for the organic creation. God created us in his image, not these other entities that are fallen. They're fallen, right? I do believe those things that are in the shot are fallen. I call them fallen angel technology. When you look at it, you realize the researchers themselves don't really understand it that well. It's almost like they were given the technology, and it really goes light years beyond our knowledge base at this time. So to me, it's obviously been given, which is a very dangerous thing. It's the analogy of a toddler with an atomic bomb in its hands. You're like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. What are you doing? But again, if we really know who we are, what we are, and whose we are, then we should have nothing to fear, because it's a dead realm, synthetic AI. It's all the same. If we are become alive, and we are in the living realm, and we know who we are and what we are, we have dominion over that synthetic dead realm. It does not have authority over us, but it takes us to be awake and aware.
So I guess what you're talking about is what you've referred to as human 2.0, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's, again, the demonic realm cannot create. It is in the dead realm. But what it can do is try to manipulate and corrupt the image of life. And so this is what we're experiencing right now, the attempt to do that. Again, that's why it doesn't make logical sense, because again, they cannot create. They're just trying to take what is created and manipulate it. And again, remember, I equate the AI to the dead realm, synthetic dead. It's not alive. No matter how much they want us to believe that it's alive, it's not. Entities can try to use that as a mechanism, as a tool. But again, we can overcome any of that. I don't have fear going forward. I do weep for all of those,